Yo, what's going on, y'all? This is Marcus Rosa, aka Mazuma TV, back at y'all with some more boxing talk, man. I hope everybody's having a blessed, beautiful, positive, productive night. You feel what I'm saying? I hope y'all had a great uh day in its entirety. You feel what I'm saying? Just coming in to tap in with y'all because we got some things that we currently need to discuss that's going on in the boxing world. We're gonna talk about the Caleb Plant and Jermall Charlo press conference and my reaction to it in all honesty, and then we're gonna speak about Chris Eubank and Conor Benn's final press conference, and then we're gonna get into some predictions as well. But shout out to everybody that's in the building so far. If we could go ahead and hit the like button as soon as we come in to get the algorithm on the up, that'd be very much appreciated. You see what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody that's in the building right now, man. I already see the comments. Pedro Anales says, "Yo, Mazuma, I see press. Why make it think of quarantine, the COVID virus?" Pedro, I already done told you about your English, bro. You gotta work on that, brother. Simple Boxer said Mazuma. Jermall said he's 100% back, but do we really believe him? He sounds like he's done with boxing. Simba, I'm gonna let you answer that question, brother. Do you think he's 100% just based off of that press conference? Do you think he's 100%? We gonna talk about it, man. Forever dedicated. What up? He said Maul drunk. We definitely gonna talk about it. Dangerous Desire Bullies. What up? J Cash, what up? Showing love all the way from out Arizona. Salute to J Cash. Pagapa T, what up? Zuma checking out my short, hitting the boxer bag. I hit a 944. Damn, that sounds like a good John. I'm gonna go check that out. Coffee Plant, what up? Shout out to everybody that's in the building, man. Let's get the algorithm on the up. You already know YouTube be having trouble sending out my notifications and shit like that. So, you know what I mean? Y'all hitting the thumbs up will be very, very helpful. You know what I mean? And I also got it in subscriber mode. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, you cannot contribute to the conversation. You feel what I mean? Simple and plain. Simple and plain. But what was y'all take on that press conference, man? The one with Jermall Charlo and Caleb Plant. And for those of y'all who don't know, no, Jermall Charlo and Caleb Plant will not be facing each other next, but they will be on the same card. You know what I'm saying? Caleb Plant will be facing Armando Resendiz, and Jermall Charlo will be taking on Thomas Lamana. I actually got to reach out to Thomas Lamana. I'm gonna try to bring him on the show. You feel what I'm saying? So we could have a little bit of a conversation. You know what I mean? I know Cornflake. Thomas Lamana, his nickname is Cornflake. I know Cornflake pretty well, so I'll reach out to him personally and see if we can get something done. You feel what I mean? But it was they did a Zoom call. I don't know why. I don't understand. Like why is it that they doing a Zoom call? You feel what I'm saying? Like why are we doing Zoom calls? Like why I don't know, bro. The PBC just be on their own time. It's like they just want to save money any way they can. Like putting up their money is just like such a problem. Yeah, motherfuckers think this the lockdown. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, bro, they was doing that shit during the pandemic and shit, and it made sense because we were going through a pandemic. You know what I'm saying? But they done made a million vaccines since then. We don't got no. We're not currently in any type of pandemic right now, bro. Fly these motherfuckers out to one location and have them at a press conference. Get your security up. You know what I mean? So Jamal and Caleb don't get into it, and that's it. That's it. Like, why is we doing Zoom calls? But whatever, man. Whatever, bro. The PBC, like I said, they be on their own time. You feel what I mean? They barely promote fights. They keep their fighters inactive. And then when they get a good card going, then they want to do it on Zoom. You see what I'm saying? Then when David Benavidez and Morrell did a press conference, they had some girl who didn't even really speak English that well moderating the press conference. Bro, I don't know, bro. They be on some weird shit. I ain't even gonna lie to you, bro. Like whoever be in charge of these events and structuring these events or whatever, like they had like social media people moderating Tank and Lamont Roach's press conferences. Like, why? Why? Why are y'all just doing y'all really doing the most? I'm not even gonna blame this on Al, bro. Like Al, like he be in charge of like the business and getting these fighters paid and dealing with the networks. I think he hires other people to like set up the events. Al Heyman is not in charge of every little thing that be going on, bro. That'd be like the people he be hiring, but whatever. Jermall Charlo does his press conference with Thomas Lamana, and this started off pretty well, but I know I was concerned right away. As soon as I heard Jermall Charlo talk, I was like, wow, this dude is intoxicated. This dude is intoxicated. This man done had a drink or two before he got on this press conference call. That was my immediate reaction because I don't watch Jermall Charlo's interviews and just listen to him talk ever since I was a young bull. For well over 10 years, I've been watching Jermall Charlo. You know what I'm saying? I could honestly say that. For well over 10 years, I watched interviews from Jermall Charlo. And, he's a pretty well spoken dude. He doesn't stumble over his words. He's not like one of them punchy dudes that had trouble getting through sentences. And he's a pretty clear speaking individual. If y'all don't believe me, go ahead and check out his interviews that he done did in the past. You know what I'm saying? Go watch the John with Mike Tyson. Go watch all the interviews that he had with Ellie Sack back then. Go look at his old press conferences when he talked. When he was actually in a clear state of mind. And then you listen to this press conference right here, he literally sounds like that motherfucker at the bar who done had a shot or two. You feel what I'm saying? So we can't sit here and be like, oh, Jermall Charlo, that's just how he sounds. Oh, that's just no. I know how that man sound. I know his voice. I know how well he articulates himself when he's sober. This was not a sober Jermall Charlo. I don't know what he on. I don't know if he fucking with the pills. I don't know if he fucking with the little smoke or whatever the case is. I don't know. I don't know what he getting into, but that man was not sober on that press conference. You know what I'm saying? Might have been high, might have been drunk. I don't know. But one thing I know for sure, one thing I know for certain, from my experience, because I didn't grew up around dope fiends and alcoholics, not in my family, but just like grew up around them. I know it's somebody, on some shit. Jermall Charlo was on some shit on that press conference. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you guys some examples. Them cats going crazy, ain't they? Let's hear Jermall talk. Don't take my word for it. Let's hear Jermall talk. Let's see.
Now looking to be world champion at 168.
Honestly speaking, I just feel like this part of my life is just life is life, and Lamar and I gonna take me away from my goals and my dreams, and I'll stand in the paint. I don't know if he knows what that means, but I'll stand in the paint with you.
What do you feel that means, Thomas?
I don't know. He right. I don't know what that means. All I know is like,
he right. I don't know what that means. Did you see how long it took him to answer that question? Like he was not. You can't say that he was always a slow talking dude. He always answered questions clearly. He always spoke clearly. He spoke in a timely fashion. This man took well over 2 minutes to answer a simple question. I'm not even trying to make fun of him. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying this was not a sober man. This was not a sober man. Can't nobody convince me otherwise. Jermall Charlo has a drinking problem. I seen this, bro. You could look back on my YouTube from like 7, 8 years ago when he was getting into it with Jesse Hart. Jermall Charlo had this habit of when he would get drunk on weekend nights, whatever the case was, he would go live and talk shit. You know what I'm saying? Jermall, one of them niggas, when he get a little liquor in his system, he get real courageous and he start popping off and talking greasy. You know what I'm saying? I remember when I was young, I was probably like 18, 19 years old. He would go live at like 2, 3 in the morning. He just be talking shit to everybody that's on the live. That's just what he used to do. He's always had this tendency of drinking. But what I think happened was he ended up going through some traumatic experiences with his, high school sweetheart, wife, fiance, whoever she was, mother of his children. And I think that he became reliant on that liquor while he was going through these stressful times. That's what I personally believe. He's always had liquor around him. He's always indulged in liquor, but I think that once he went through something, serious in his life or something extremely stressful, he relied on it to, ease his mind temporarily to, get past the stress or not deal with the stress. But all that did in reality was make him an alcoholic. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, Jermall Charlo is that type of dude, bro. I remember because I used to be on his lives talking. He used to curse me out for no reason. Yo, like all my son life. I used to get on his lives and I used to, just be talking. He was like, man, fuck Philly. Talk all this crazy shit. I'm like, damn, for real? You know what I'm saying? I would mention that I'm from Philly, and I think he had just beat J Rock around that time. He was like, man, fuck Philly, man, fuck Philly. I'm like, damn, bro. No, Jermall Charlo done cursed me out on a few of his lives, bro. A few of them. But it was always when he was under the influence of something. Bro, I'm trying to tell you that's just a habit of his. I just think that ended up accelerating, or he just began to use it more. He became more reliant on it once he went through some traumatic situations. And I understand. I done been through traumatic situations, but one thing I ain't never do was use substances to get past my problems. Whenever I had a problem, I got through it how I knew how to get through it. You know what I mean? Talking, speaking up, you know what I mean? Communicating, hearing other people's opinions. That was my form of therapy. But some people's therapy is, getting a little smoke, getting a little drink, whatever the case is, and just bottling it up and holding it and holding their feelings to themselves. You feel me? But I'm learning to not really laugh at people when they go through certain shit. You know what I mean? Because being a young version of myself, whenever I didn't like someone and I seen that they were going through some shit, I would clown them. You feel what I'm saying? And shit, some of that might have been justifiable because a lot of the people that I tend to not like are usually shitty people. But at this time, bro, it's sad, bro. It's sad. Jermall, I was never a big fan of Jermall Charlo all like that, but it's sad seeing him go through the situations that he's going through, bro. On some real shit, bro. I think that Jermall Charlo is starting to slowly but surely become too far gone, like an Adrian Broner. You know what I'm saying? Once I seen that he turned down like the Canelo fight on multiple occasions, I knew something was wrong. Cause who wouldn't get up for that opportunity? You know what I'm saying? Who wouldn't accept that challenge? It was like the people that was around Jamal knew what he got going on and knew that he wasn't ready for that opportunity. And they know that he putting him up against Canelo might be dangerous or might be, career ending or whatever. So they held him back from them opportunities. Typically they take whenever they become part of the Canelo sweepstakes, they get it done. You know what I mean? They go for it. Jermall Charlo's like the only person that received the Canelo offer and did not go for it. That just lets you know how chaotic he may be at this moment. You know what I'm saying? To the point where Jamel was like, "Oh, you don't want to take it? Well, I'll take it." And he even admitted it on the Mike. Was it the Mike Tyson John? He did an interview with somebody where it was both of them there. He's like, "Oh, I'm not able to fight Canelo, so my brother going to do it." Like why you not? Why can't you? Why can't you, bro? Because you going through some shit and you not ready. So Thomas Lamana, is he a world level fighter? In my opinion, no. Is he a high ranked like guy in boxing right now? No. He's experienced. They saying he coming off of a 9-fight win streak. You know what I'm saying? But regardless, if Thomas Lamana Jamal slipping at any point in his career is right now. Now, I'm not saying Thomas Lamana beats Jermall Charlo, but he's in the best possible situation to do so because, in my honest opinion, I don't think he beats a Jermall Charlo. Shit, he might not beat this Jermall Charlo if we being honest. But if you're going to catch Jermall Charlo at his lowest is right now. I personally believe Jermall Charlo is at his lowest right now. Showing up to a press conference either high or drunk or maybe both is absolutely embarrassing. It's unprofessional, and it really shows that he has a problem. He has a problem. You going that's like a press conference is like a business meeting for boxers. You know what I'm saying? That's like a business meeting, and you showing up to a business meeting like under the influence. My man Jermall Charlo on some shit. He's like, I don't usually do this unless I'm drunk or I'm high, but I'm both right now. Got me talking about my life. I don't usually do this unless I'm drunk or I'm high, but I'm both right now. Bitch, I'm both. You ain't really need me, but I don't. That's the type time Jermall Charlo on right now. He on all nut shit. I hope that shit don't translate into the fight because if Jermall Charlo comes up short against Thomas LaManna, no disrespect to Thomas LaManna, but I think it's safe to say that wouldn't nobody in boxing right now expect Jermall Charlo to lose his O to fucking Cornflake. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what the fuck is we even doing for real? Shout out to the 31 people that's in the building. Go ahead, hit the like button. We got 14 likes. Let's get 30 likes for the 30 people that's in the building. That'll be very much appreciated. You feel what I'm saying? But definitely smash the likes for sure, for sure. It's free. You know what I mean? It's free. Come on, let's not do this. You know what I mean? It's free. It ain't gonna cost you nothing. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that was my interpretation of the press conference, man. I heard Caleb Plant on there with Resendiz, and Resendiz and Caleb Plant have a language barrier, so it wasn't much back and forth between them. I thought it was pretty interesting that they had actually sparred before, and Caleb Plant is very confident about how the way the sparring went, and Resendiz has a different perception of what happened in the sparring session, and he seems confident as well. So, Resendiz, he's not on Caleb Plant level in my opinion. I think Caleb Plant outboxes him, outclasses him, might even hurt Resendiz in all honesty, but we'll see. We'll see. This is definitely fights where PBC or at least, the odds makers or whatever are under the impression that, Caleb and Jermall Charlo will be favorites going into the bout. And a lot of people are under the impression that they should win these fights convincingly because Resendiz and Thomas LaManna, neither one of them are like big names in their division. Neither one of them are known as like boogeymen, the boogeymen of their division. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, not there's really no pressure on them. You feel me? It's like everybody is anticipating them to lose. And they whole objective, PBC's whole plan is at the end of this fight, at the end of this event, to set up Caleb Plant versus Jermall Charlo. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a fan of Caleb Plant versus Resendiz. I'm not a fan of Jermall Charlo versus Thomas LaManna, but it is what it is. They got a game plan and they're gonna follow through with it, whether boxing fans like it or not. And hopefully they both come out successful so we can see that fight at the end of the year because that'll be a great fight. That'll be a great fight. All dependent on how the way Jermall Charlo looks the night of the fight. You know what I mean? I'm very concerned for him. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all, man. I'm very concerned with how the way Jermall Charlo has been acting, how the way he's been moving. He said on the live not too long ago, a few months back, where he said that he don't even really care about boxing. He just want to be with his family and all that. That sounds like somebody who's not all the way there mentally. He was at that press conference talking about how, he needed that 2 years off and how he feels stronger and all that shit. But, fighters always say shit like that. And then, you find out further down the line that they were basically lying. So they just don't want to appear weak or anything like that. So they go ahead and feed the media and they fans lies. So the media and the fans could be comfortable with how the way they're moving going into the fight. You know what I'm saying? Like you always hear fighters talking about, oh, this is the best training camp I had. Oh, yo, man, this training camp. Oh man, this is like I never felt stronger. I never felt better, man. The sparring, and then after the fight, it was like, yeah, man, I done broke 2 of my fingers. You know what I mean? I got whiplash, and I hyperextended my elbow, and I can't even move my ankle. Like they be saying shit like that. It was like, damn, you was just saying you had the best training camp of your life. So that'd be one of the biggest lies told by fighters, point blank period. You feel me? So yeah, then they get their ass whooped and make excuses after. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if Thomas LaManna, he said that he had other big opportunities in front of him, but Jermall was the biggest name. I personally believe that Thomas LaManna is taking this fight because he's no dummy. He's a promoter in his own right. He done did a lot of shows. I've been to some of his shows. He got Rising Star Promotions. you know what I mean, out there in Jersey. He does a lot of events out in Jersey and stuff like that. And he understands the business. He's calculated with how the way he moves, in my opinion. And I think that when he looks at the situation Jermall Charlo is in right now, this is a situation where he feel like he could take advantage of the moment and catch Jermall Charlo slipping. Now, is Jermall going to slip or not? I mean, we'll see. But that's my personal take on, that press conference and what they had going on. I thought Caleb Plant had a hilarious moment where he told Thomas Lamana to shut the fuck up, and they even had they back and forth and shit like that. Thomas Lamana didn't like the fact that the media was saying, "Oh, if you get past Lamana and Caleb Plant gets past Resendiz," and he was like, "Nah, we not doing that. We not doing that." So he was getting pissed off by the media questions. You feel what I mean? But good little Zoom press conference, I guess. I would have much rather have I would have much rather preferred them do the press conference in person, but I guess not. I guess that's too much to ask for when it comes to the PBC. You feel me? So it is what it is. So now we moving on to Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank. They just had their final press conference. And they had their back and forth, man. You could tell Conor Benn is in a much more calm state of mind. I guess it just goes to show how dialed in he is and how ready he is to fight. Chris Eubank just being himself, going at it with Eddie Hearn, going at it with his own brother-in-law. It was entertaining, man. And like I said, I was gonna put out a video earlier today, bro, but I just kept fucking up the videos. I was getting calls in the middle of my videos. My phone had died during one of my videos, so I guess it just wasn't meant to make the video today. You feel what I mean? But what I was saying in the video was this was very well promoted. They did a fantastic job promoting this fight, from the fighters to the promoters. Even the promoters had a little beef with each other, and you know what I mean? Conor Benn getting slapped with an egg by Chris Eubank, and Chris Eubank getting patted down for eggs at the next press conference, and Nigel Benn is around supporting, a legend in his own right, supporting his son, and even doing some tell-alls on Nigel Benn's sparring sessions with William Skull and Bruno Sarase, and saying how his son dominated them and made them quit. And it's been a lot of controversial shit that's been going on from the very beginning, with Conor Benn testing positive for PEDs and shit like that. It's been a lot of controversy surrounding this fight, but as a result, it's garnered a lot of attention, especially in the UK, because from what I heard, the event is completely sold out. You know what I'm saying? We're still a few days out. We're about two days and some change out from the fight. And the event's completely sold out. So shout out to everybody that was involved with the fight. They promoted it really well. I wish they would have used that same energy for like Boot Stanionis and shit like that, but it is what it is, man. I guess they said that there's like $18 million on the line between the two guys, and Conor Benn and Chris Eubank, and Chris Eubank is getting 60%. So 60% of 18 million is like 10.5 million. He gonna get a nice bag. You know what I'm saying? And I guess based off of that, I think Conor Benn would be getting, if he's getting 10.5, 18 million. Shit, I can't even do no math right now. But whatever. Conor Benn getting a nice bag too. You feel me? So good press conference. You know what I'm saying? I did see that Chris Eubank looking a little skinny around the face and shit like that, but that comes with the weight cuts. You know what I'm saying? And I was actually seeing people online saying, "Damn, man, Chris Eubank, he's actually he looks weight drained, and Conor Benn looks healthy." You fucking idiot. Conor Benn is the one that's moving up 2 weight classes. If you move up 2 weight classes and look drained, you did something totally wrong in camp. Totally wrong in camp. You feel me? So it would make sense why Chris Eubank looks like he's feeling the effects of the weight, because he's the one that's coming down in weight. Let's check Chris Eubank's box rec real quick, because I had people saying, "Oh, well, he fights at middleweight." No, he's fought at middleweight. You know what I mean? And according to box rec, he's considered a middleweight. Well, actually, he hasn't fought at 168 in a long time. So let me actually take that back. Shit. His last fight at 168 was against James DeGale. And that was back in 2019. So, yeah, the weight isn't necessarily the problem. It's the rehydration clause that's the problem. You feel me? He's competed at 168 before. He actually won a world title at 168. I believe he got the IBO at 168 at one point in time. You feel me? So, yeah, this shit is insane. Only being able to rehydrate the 170 is gonna take. I think it's definitely gonna hinder. I don't know exactly how much, but I think it's definitely gonna hinder Chris Eubank's performance, and it's gonna take away from his potential and how the way he performs in this fight. Now, really assessing these guys' styles, I see both ways that these guys could be successful in the bout. Looking at Chris Eubank's style, he's flashy, he's athletic, he got good hand speed, he got some decent pop too. He could put you down if he catch you with the right shot. You know what I'm saying? We seen it against Liam Smith. He done concussed dudes, all types of shit. So he got some decent pop, and it translated up to 168. So the pop is gonna be there for Chris Eubank. You feel what I'm saying? But I do see that when he gets a little lazy with his jab. You know what I'm saying? He like to throw his jab, and then he doesn't bring the jab hand back. He keeps it like on his waist, like he'll shoot and then drop his hand to all the way down to his waist. And Conor Benn is really good at countering with his right hand. I've seen him slip and counter with the right hand on multiple occasions. Pete Dobson, Chris Algieri, shit like that. So there's some opportunities for Conor Benn to counter. You know what I'm saying? And I know he's taking a very aggressive approach because Nigel Benn pretty much snitched on those spar sessions that he had with Bruno Sarase and William Skull. He was saying how Conor Benn was fighting at a high pace, you know what I'm saying, was walking to him and, was being like pretty much roughing him up. So that's what I'm expecting Conor Benn to do against Chris Eubank. Walk to Eubank, try to rough him up, fight at a high pace, you know what I mean, and just outwork his opponent. That's what Nigel Benn said. And usually, based off of the training camps that I've been in, you tend to fight how you spar in the lead up to the fight. You feel me? So, if anything, he just low-key revealed Conor Benn's game plan when the whole time he probably was just trying to show off his son's accomplishments and, what he was able to do in camp. So, he might have shot himself in the foot with that one. But anyways, Conor Benn could find some right hands to counter Chris Eubank for sure if he's not defensively responsible or brings his hand back after a jab. Conor Benn, on the other end, he makes some mistakes too. You know what I'm saying? He was doing that shit that they was criticizing Devin Haney for in the Ryan Garcia fight. When he shoots his jab, he drops his right hand all the way down here. You feel what I'm saying? Conor Benn does that religiously. You feel what I'm saying? And that could definitely open up some counters for Eubank. If he's dropping the right hand while he's jabbing, that left hook will be there. He could slip inside and shoot the left hook. He could time it with the left hook coming in. There's a few things. And Conor Benn, based off of what I've seen in the Pete Dobson fight, he was a sucker for the uppercut. Definitely was a sucker for the uppercut. And Chris Eubank specializes in throwing that uppercut. He's actually really good at shooting the uppercut off of the hook, off of the jab. You know what I'm saying? And he's pretty accurate with it as well. I've seen him land uppercuts inside. He was able to squeeze the uppercut inside somebody's high guard. You feel what I'm saying? So I could see both ways that these guys could have success in this fight. But I really think when it comes to Chris Eubank, what's really going to determine how he performs is how the way his body responds to that rehydration clause. If he responds well off of that rehydration clause and is able to operate efficiently at 170 pounds, I think he could come out victorious. But if his body does not respond well to the weight cut and rehydrating to 170 only, he could have some issues. You know what I'm saying? Another thing that I've observed that may actually play in Eubank's favor is Conor Benn hasn't gotten a knockout in a long time. Specifically, ever since he got caught with PEDs in the system, he hasn't been getting knockouts. That the speed is still there, the athleticism is still there, the explosiveness is still there, but that one punch knockout power that he seemed to have in previous fights doesn't seem to be, coming into play anymore. You know what I mean? That may be a coincidence, but I rarely believe in coincidences. You feel me? So, let's say Conor Benn does land punches on Chris Eubank, but it isn't able to hurt him or deter him at all. He may be in some serious trouble because Chris Eubank, I feel like if he doesn't respect your power or anything like that, he gonna go get it. He could punch in combinations. He got a good gas tank. He's a good volume puncher. I seen it with Liam Smith, how the way he was able to relentlessly shoot combinations and pretty much overwhelm Liam Smith with volume. I could see him doing the same thing with Conor Benn. You see what I'm saying? So there's pros and cons for both of these guys going into this fight. You know what I mean? And we won't really know whose cons way more than whose until the fight is over. Will it be Conor Benn's inexperience and moving up in weight that fucks him over and gives him his first loss of his career? Or is it, Eubank's rehydration clause that causes him to slip and come up short in this fight against Conor Benn? We'll see. We'll see for sure. You feel what I'm saying? But that's just what I observed. I think that these guys both have holes in their game. There's no such thing as a perfect fighter. Let's not get that misunderstood or anything like that. There's no such thing as a perfect fighter. I could watch film on just about anybody and reveal flaws in their game. You feel what I'm saying? But made a person with the best game plan win. Made a man who had the better training camp win. You know what I mean? I'm rooting for Eubank because I don't really like how the way Conor Benn has been moving in his career, obviously with the performance enhancement drugs and shit like that. But for that reason and that reason alone, I'm rooting for Eubank. I think Eubank is going to come out victorious in this fight. I think he will outpoint Conor Benn en route to a unanimous decision. That's what I believe is going to happen, man. I want to see exactly what you guys' thoughts are and what y'all predictions is. Do y'all got Conor Benn pulling off the victory? Do y'all got Chris Eubank pulling off the victory? Y'all got to let me know. If Eubank lose, take my wrench away. I'm crazy. Coffee Plant said, yo, did you see Hearn say Tank fighting Jake in November? No, I didn't, man. I haven't been able to catch Eddie Hearn's interviews at all. I haven't even seen an interview of him speaking on the Shakur Stevenson split. You know what I mean? So I definitely got to catch up, bro. I ain't going to lie, bro. It's been nonstop work. I'm tired of shit. Y'all can see it in my eyes, obviously. It's been hard for me to keep up with boxing with how busy shit has been, like at my one job and then going straight to the gym, then, chilling with my son and then spending time with the wifey and spending time with my mother and my family. It's a lot going on, bro. By the time I get home, it's about 8:30, 9 o'clock. You know what I mean? I could probably get some things done around the house, attend to the wifey or whatever. And then by the time I look up, I got to go live. You feel me? So I definitely need to slow down just a little bit so I can catch up on my boxing how I usually do, man. I just got a little bit too much on my plate right now. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I don't want that plate empty at the same time. You feel me? So, I mean, we spoke about Jermall, Charlo, and Caleb Plant's Zoom press conference. We spoke about Chris Eubank's press conference with Conor Benn. I done spoke about my prediction in the fight and who I'm rooting for. So what's on your mind, man? Let's open up the platform to some open boxing topics. You feel what I'm saying? John McSmith, what up? What's going on? What's going on? Who else in the building? Mastermind says send the link. I don't even think I could send a link right now, bro. That's the crazy part. I don't even think I could send a link right now. That's the crazy part. You know what I'm saying? When I be going live off the laptop for some reason, it won't let me share the live for nobody. So I don't think that's gonna work. said going with Eubank by unanimous decision. Me too. Me too. I think he could pull it off. I think he could outbox Conor Benn. I think he could outbox Conor Benn. If Conor Benn, I mean, based off of what Nigel Benn is saying, Conor Benn has been sparring these bigger guys and has been bullying them and outworking them. You know what I mean? Making them feel uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? So based off of how the way he's sparring, that must be his game plan. I think not Nigel Benn. I think Conor Benn is going to walk right into the smoke and try to pressure Chris Eubank, or at least put him on the back foot. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. Let's see how Chris Eubank. You know what? I'm gonna tell y'all what I think. I was talking about it with my guys at the gym. I think that Conor Benn is putting a lot of stock into Chris Eubank struggling to make weight, or at least not being fully hydrated with that rehydration clause. So with him thinking that, and he even said, "Oh, you need to go make weight, fat boy," or "You need to go make weight, fat boy." I think that Conor Benn is putting a lot of stock into Chris Eubank not being fully hydrated or performing well because he'll be dehydrated going into the fight with him. So I think that his plan is to pressure Eubank, to make him uncomfortable with the volume that he's going to be throwing, with the relentless pressure, and you know, because of the rehydration clause, he won't be able to be as strong as he usually is, and as a result, he may burn himself out. So I think because of the rehydration clause, I think Connor is under the impression that he could drown Eubank. You know what I mean? And try to stop him in the later rounds. That's what I think. That's what I think. I think that Connor's gonna put the pressure on Eubank. I think he's gonna try to walk to him, outwork him, wear him out, and in hopes to drown him later on in the fight. But I think Conor Benn is putting a lot of stock into Eubank struggling to, you know, fully hydrate with only going up to 170 pounds. Tripping. If I was Eubank and I had the if I had the resources that he had, I'd have had a nutritionist on it right away. I would have had a nutritionist on it right away. Like, listen, I can only rehydrate 10 pounds going into this fight with Conor Benn. I need to be as uh I need to be as hydrated as possible. I need to be as strong, as fast as possible. You need to put your magic together to make this shit happen. You know what I'm saying? That's what I would do. I'm really looking forward to this fight though. Yeah, me too, Coffee. Really looking forward to this fight. Because, if Conor Ben comes up short, bro, that'll be the funniest shit that I've seen in a long time. Shout out to my boy Anonymous. He said, "Yeah, I think Eubank is gonna win the mental battle too. I definitely see Ben coming into the fight really emotional. You could tell how emotional he is, man. I think that him getting smacked with the egg really all like got to him from a psychological standpoint, man. You know, and Chris Eubank brought up a great point. He was like, "Yo, like, there's a reason why he did his training camp in Spain because he couldn't handle the criticism that he'll face in the UK for doing what he did. You know what I mean? He don't want to be called a drug cheat and stuff like that. He ran away from his own home country because he don't want to face the music." And I thought that was a great point. I didn't even know that he was training in Spain, but it made then I looked back and saw one of the episodes he had, and he was speaking in Spanish and shit like that. So it made total sense. Like, oh, he is training in Spain. Why is he training in Spain? And then when Chris Eubank broke it down like that, I was like, oh, okay. Maybe he is running from the people. So I think Conor Benn is definitely feeling the pressure. This man done admitted in an interview that he fears losing, specifically losing to Chris Eubank. And I'm like, bro, you little do you know the little shit that you saying is really starting to make more and more sense as to why you got caught using performance enhancement drugs, bro. Conor Benn admitted that he's emotional. He said, "Man, I go into fights wearing my heart on my sleeve, and that's how I've been my entire career." So he's openly telling you that he's an emotional person. Now, these emotions that he's feeling against Eubank Jr., will it hinder his focus or will it sharpen his focus? Because there's fighters when they get emotional, they get reckless and fuck themselves over, like Teofimo Lopez. Then there's guys that when they get emotional, they rise to the occasion and really punish you, like Oscar De La Hoya. So, emotions affect people different ways. It makes some people lock in and it makes some people fall apart completely. So we'll see. Coffee Plant said Eubank be reminding him every time he cheated at the press, as he should. As he should. He should remind them. He should remind all the people that's there as well. You know what I mean? Like, that shit just don't go away. You know what I'm saying? That shit just don't go away. You just don't. People just don't forget that you a drug cheat. Or you try to get some type of advantage. You feel me? Like, we know what's going on. These girls loud as shit outside. You got these hood rats out here talking crazy. First of all, shut your ass up. Don't nobody want to hear y'all fucking thoughtopotamuses. Fuck is wrong with y'all? Anyways, Terry Scott in the building. What up, brother? He says, Ben acts like a female, always getting mad at something and emotional. Yeah, it's like Conor Benn, he be trying so hard to play that tough guy role. Like, I don't be understanding that shit. Like, bro, we know you could fight. Why do you feel the need to act so tough? Why you feel the need to just try to put fear in niggas all the time? Like, bro, they came up in the same sport as you, then probably fought as many times as you, probably fought even more than you. You think they scared of you, bro? Like, I don't know. I don't understand. I don't know why he be acting so tough and like people supposed to be shook at him. Like, bro, you ain't win no world title. You ain't beat nobody notable, bro. You are a protected fighter that's pretty much eating off of your father's legacy, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's like, bro, stop acting like you from the gutter and you like really cut like that, nigga. You ain't had to go through nothing hard in your motherfucking life. You could have walked. You could walk away from boxing and be well off without the sport. You don't need the sport of boxing. Stop acting like you cut like that. Eric Lopez says fighters from Spain are tricky though. Yeah, like Sandor Martin. Jordan Sheriff out. Shout out to my boy Jordan Sheriff. He actually trained out there in Spain. He from the UK, but he training out there in Spain. I wonder if Jordan Sheriff be running into Conor Benn over there or what. That's interesting. Motherfuckers get tatted up and think it's over. There be some people, bro. They be tatted up and all of a sudden they become top goon of Philly, and I'm like, nigga, you was a bitch growing up. Now you got neck tats and arm sleeves, and now you some fucking gangster that can't be faded. Okay. I done seen niggas slap you and you hold your face while they walk away. Now you this big gangster. Who you think Hearn favors in turn? What between Ben and Eubank? Of course it's Ben because that's who he signed with. That's who he wants to win. Because if Conor Benn wins, that just make his pockets fatter. There's no way in hell Eddie Hearn will root for Eubank over Ben. He can't stand Chris Eubank. Truth be told, can't none of them promoters in the UK because they can't stand Chris Eubank because he be calling them out, calling them all types of scumbags and all that shit. If Ben win, feed him the boots. Man, Ben don't want to fight no boots. They done asked him before, and he was talking about how boots ain't. Yo, the audacity of this fucking clown, bro. He gonna go ahead and say that boots ain't no name. That when he thinks of names, he thinks of Amir Khan, Kell Brook, Manny Pacquiao. Like, bro, they retired. What the fuck are you talking about? I think he said like Mario Barrios, Manny Pacquiao, Amir Khan, and Kell Brook. I'm like, bro, all of them except for one is retired right now. They names? He don't want nothing to do with Jerron Ennis, bro. He was listen. Ever since Boost done signed with Matchroom, Conor Benn been on his best behavior. His best behavior. He's like, when I walk in Philly, everybody knows me. Man, bro, don't nobody know you in Philly, cuz they might have seen you outside the boxing event and because they boxing fans, they saluted you. But like, nigga, you not walking around like no City Hall or South Philly. Nigga, you not in Lincoln Financial Field getting it. Niggas don't know you like that. You're a nobody over here. I promise you. I go walk down the block. You remember when Eddie Hearn was going around and was asking people if they knew who Deontay Wilder was, and they all was saying no. I could do the same shit with Conor Benn, and nobody will know who he is. He trying to make it seem like he more known in Philly than Boots. You out your fucking mind. Boots done sat 10,000 plus people at the Wells Fargo. You couldn't do that. Yeah, but I seen Ben call out Mario Barrios, but everybody calling out Mario Barrios right now because they know he an easy lick. He look like dog shit. They know that they could get that WBC up off him. But the thing is, Mario Barrios know that he the weakest link. So he ain't giving that belt up unless, somebody makes a big bid on it. Well, if Boost ever comes around to fighting Mario Barrios, he gonna have to take a serious pay cut. Either a serious pay cut or Eddie Hearn really gonna have to offer him an absurd amount of money because Barrios not giving up that belt unless he really cashes out. Listen, they saying Barrios and Manny signed. I done heard that too. If that's the case, I hope Manny Pacquiao beats the shit out of Mario Barrios. I hope he hit Barrios one of them left hands and put him on his back pockets like he did Keith Thurman and all that. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I really hope that happens. Mario Barrios, you got other champions in your division. You fought Abel Ramos your last fight, almost took an L. Now you about to fight old ass Manny Pacquiao? That's insane. I hope Manny Pacquiao breaks Mario Barrios, cuz that's ridiculous. I hope Pacquiao turn back the clock and fucks Barrios up and leave his nose on, on swole like everybody else do. Y'all be seeing Barrios after the fight, he be looking like them blue niggas from that movie, the Avatars. Pacquiao gotta be like 43, 44, bro. Like, that's who you gonna fight. He look like absolute dog shit in that. He 46. Holy shit. Pacquiao is 46 years old and Floyd is 48. Damn, the time is flying, bro. Sheesh. That's crazy. Floyd is 48, y'all. Wow. Anyways, man, 46 years old. He looked like dog shit when he did that exhibition with that kickboxer. Nigga lost to Ugas. His wife had to feed him. He was so fucked up off that Ugas fight that his wife Jinky had to feed him. And that's the nigga you gonna fight next when you got all this smoke around your division. Barrios a pussy, y'all. Oh, and that's crazy because I knew him for having heart. He fought Tank and Keith Thurman back to back. But you go ahead and win this world title after being Ugas. And all of a sudden, you holding this belt hostage. Why is that? Because you pussy. I guess you fought Tank because it made financial sense, and you fought Thurman because you thought you was catching Thurman slipping. Whole time he fry you, Tank fry you, but you get an opportunity against Ugas and you beat him because uh you re-injured, his orbital bone. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, bro. You know what I mean? And it's like, also, it's like, all right, you might get a little bag off of Pacquiao because he an icon, he a Hall of Famer, all-time great type shit. But it's like, what does that really do for you? What does that really do for you? It was like when William Joppy beat Roberto Duran. It was like, all right, you beat Roberto Duran, but like, what did it do for you? It actually hurt him because fans actually grew to really dislike him, and it crushed his fan base. So it's like, and then you got fried by Tito Trinidad. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, what do you get off of being a 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao? You know what I mean? Like when Ugas beat Pacquiao, it was a good win because he actually took Pacquiao's belt off of him. You know what I'm saying? He beat Pacquiao when he was champion. You fighting Pacquiao coming off of a horrible exhibition and a multi-year layoff. Next gen said low key is his cash out fight before he becomes a gatekeeper. Shit. You might be right. He was like, man, I know I'm gonna end up getting smoked in this division. So before I do that, let me go ahead and get this cash. Let me do this money grab real quick. You know what I'm saying? I ain't knocking it, but it's like I done heard Barrios act like he was interested in fights. So to hear him, to see him, to see his actions not match up with his words, it's kind of disappointing. Generational wealth. Yeah, I get it. It's prize fighting. Yeah, I mean, it's all good. But first of all, we don't even know how much Barrios will make off of Manny Pacquiao. We don't know that. You know, Barrios might make more money because this is an older Pacquiao. He don't got the attention around him how he used to. So he's not this big star like he used to be, right? So who's to say that they'll make more money fighting Pacquiao than Boots right now? Boots is the hotter attraction in comparison to Pacquiao right now. He's not as popular, but he's the hotter name because he's actually active. He's currently unified champion. You know what I'm saying? Pacquiao done been on the bench since Ugas set him down. So you want us to believe after all that sitting down he done did that, he gonna come back and start torching shit? Come on, man. You said Dev will beat the dog shit out of Barrios. Man, Devin Haney will school Mario Barrios. Barrios, off of the lateral movement alone, that shit will fry Barrios and his terrible ass footwork. I was watching him fight Keith Thurman. He crossing his feet. I'm like, bro, Mario Barrios crossing his feet? Like, that's what like my clients do that don't even box for real. They just looking to get in shape. Like, I be having to correct them for crossing their feet. You be crossing your feet like them rookies. Bro, what the fuck did they teach you? How'd you get this far? When you don't even know how to step to your right or step to your left, that shit is crazy. Shit. Niggas be wilding, cuz. Devin Haney will take Barrios to school. If he don't stop Barrios, that'll be a 12-0 type fight. That'll be a 12-0 type fight. But let's get a few more questions before we get up out of here, man. What's on the people's mind? What y'all want to know? What y'all want to talk about? Let me know. We got about like 7 minutes before I get up out of here, so let me know what it is. Ralph said they gonna hype Pack up like they did Tyson, showing a couple seconds of pad work. Yeah, they might just do that. Their whole buildup is gonna be about how Manny Pacquiao's this legend and how he beat Thurman when he was in his 40s. He beat Adrian Broner. He might just turn back the clock. He's dangerous. He looks better than ever. You know what I'm saying? So that whole buildup, they just gonna try to convince the people that Pacquiao back. Eric Lopez said, "Who you think Tio should call out if he beats Barbosa?" Well, it all depends on whether he wants to stay at 140 or not. If he goes up to 47, then obviously I wouldn't mind seeing him fight Jaron Ennis. Why not? He big on the Ring Magazine titles. Boots got the Ring Magazine title. So why not? Why not see Teofimo fight Boots if Boots is gonna stick around and take some time in between unifying the belts. You know what I'm saying? We could see that. If he stays at let me see, hold up. I mean, if he decides to stay at 40, bro, there's plenty of unification fights like Gary Antoine Russell, Albert Puello, there's somebody else. Gary Antoine, Albert Puello, Teofimo Lopez, that's somebody else. And Richardson Hitchens. You feel what I'm saying? My fault, y'all. Who wins? Jahi Tucker versus Truck Simpson? Damn. I seen that they fighting. And that's actually a really good fight. So what I personally believe, bro, I don't think Top Rank is too fond of Jahi Tucker. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think that they're a little fed up with that kid. I don't think they really look at him as like the goods anymore. So this might be like the fight that they're gonna try to, defeat Jahi Tucker and possibly drop him from the promotional stable. But Jahi Tucker a dog. He like to let his hands go. He like to rumble. Truck Simpson, he's talented. You know what I'm saying? He could rumble as well. That's a good fight. That's a good fight. Probably because like Truck Simpson ain't been looking good in his last few performances. A lot of people might rock with Jahi. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I'm gonna have to watch a little more film on both of them before I come up with that answer. But it's dope to see them two fighting. Two young guys fighting each other. It's a good drawing. You don't really see that too often. Ain't Truck team with I heard Truck is with Ronnie Shields right now. I heard he with Ronnie Shields. He said he had to get away from Baltimore. You know what he said? You know what Truck basically said in that Mill City interview? That he was too like he loved Coach Calvin and Kenny and them, but he felt like he could cut corners with them because they were like because he was so comfortable with them, he felt like he could cheat them and not be focused. He said, well, with Ronnie Shields and them over here, what I mean, I ain't too familiar with them. I didn't know them. I don't know them as long as I've known Kenny and Calvin. So, you know what I mean? It forces me to like, be on point, you know what I mean, and actually take care of business because I was so comfortable around Kenny and Calvin that I was doing whatever I wanted. Jen just announced the Brian Norman fight on Twitter. Shaking my head. Shaking my head. Brian Norman, one of the biggest ducks in boxing right now. You know what I'm saying? You turned down 1.7 million to fight in Philadelphia. I was bitching about Boots having a hometown advantage just for y'all to fight a challenger, not a champion, but a challenger in his home country for less than $1.7 million. Make that shit make sense. Make that shit make sense. This dude is a fucking coward. And his punk ass daddy really be out here trying to convince motherfuckers that, you know what I mean, they ain't ducking nobody. Bro, y'all the biggest ducks. Y'all some of the biggest ducks in the sport of boxing right now. At least Cepeda grew some balls and ended up signing the Fight Shakur. Y'all bitch ass niggas gave every excuse in the book to not face Boots, try to make it seem like it was Eddie Hearn and Boots' fault that the fight didn't happen. Whole time is y'all. Whole time is y'all. And that shit just goes to show they didn't have any intentions on fighting Jerron Ennis. They didn't have any intentions on fighting Jerron Ennis. They trying to hold on to that belt as long as possible because in their mind, the longer they hold that belt, the longer they defend that belt, the more they value go up. Right? So 1.7 million, that's a lot of money, especially in comparison to, his previous career high payday. You know what I mean? Hold on. He said he willing to fight Santillin and Jen in their hometown, but won't go to Philly. Yeah, facts. And Senior sound pussy as shit anyway. I heard this one interview he did with Mill where he was like, hey man, if Philly get a little rowdy, man, I'm just gonna have to pop a nigga. And that's just what it is. Nick, why is y'all so scared of Philadelphia? Cause he not the only person I ever heard speak about Philly like that. Like, man, I'm out here. I'm gonna just have to bring my gun. They try to do something to me. I'm gonna pop them, nigga. First of all, you ain't gonna do shit, nigga. You know what I mean? You gonna do a motherfucking oil change in your little garage and go ahead and tow. You do them cash for clunker shit. You better off doing that than shooting a nigga. You ain't even cut like that, cuz. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, why are you so fearful of Philly? If Boost offered a fight in Atlanta, there's no way Norman could reject the fight. But the thing is, they ain't gonna make no. If Brian Norman wants this obscene amount of money for the Boots fight, they not gonna make that money in Atlanta. The only place it makes sense for them to generate that revenue to pay both guys and for it to be a profitable show, it will have to take place in Philadelphia at the Wells Fargo. That's where the money is made at. So you gonna ask for this obscene amount of money and then demand it to be at a location where they may possibly lose money at? It makes no sense. If you want to cash out, if you want that big bag, you need to make the fight happen at the Wells Fargo because that's where Boots run up them checks at. And if you this businessman that you claim to be, you would understand that. You feel me? They got jumped for a cheesesteak at a poppy store in Badlands and haven't been back since. That's fucking wild. Some of the best cheesesteaks you're gonna get is in the Badlands, though. Truth be told. But all right, y'all, I'm gonna get up out of here, man. I appreciate everybody that came through and showed love to the channel, man. We had some great informational boxing talk tonight. I'm gonna go ahead and lay my head down for the night. You know what I mean? I'm sorry that this live wasn't as long as it typically is, but I need to catch up on some rest. I'm fucking burnt out. You feel what I'm saying? After Sasaki, the fight will be bigger. I mean, that may be true, Bella, but at the same time, we can't use that as a reason to duck somebody, especially when they're giving you a payday that you've never seen half of in your career. You feel what I mean? But shout out to Bella Faith. Shout out to everybody that's in the building, man. Y'all have a blessed, beautiful night. Y'all go ahead and hit the like button on the way out, man. I'm up out of here. Peace.